distracting, fully stop making the noise. This truly is the danger zone. So really we can try to listen to everything, every sound. Every sight, every movement, every color, every experience as if it is the Buddha, the voice of the Buddha, the teaching of enlightenment. And I was reading something, it said Zen is basically just being in a state of not thinking without falling asleep. And what I find to be a really interesting question, really interesting and alive question, is how do we as personalities, how do we as people relate to this state or this way of being awake and not thinking? Kind of in the way how when we think about death or when we talk about death, so like every single person here is going to die for sure, and they can die at any moment. And so mostly we approach life, we don't think about that. We kind of just put it into the corner. But the question of Zen or the question of enlightenment or the question that the Buddha poses is, what is the nature of life and death here and now? What is the nature of non-thinking here and now? What is the relevance of no thought? What is the relevance of death in your life here and now? And it's a curious question. It's almost like being threatened with death, or being threatened with no more ability to think, or the threat of cutting through thinking. Some people are beginning to call me not a real monk. They're stepping forward to call me out. And so I ask you, my question to you is, how am I going to deal with that? How am I going to deal with what you're saying to me right now? Am I going to digivolve? Am I going to go through the process? But you're challenging me, so how am I going to respond? Some people are starting to take this live stream that's concerned with the truth, that's talking about monk life meditation, that's doing community building, and some people are trying to start to say some wild things, some off the cuff things. So how am I going to respond to that when people get out of control in this live stream? This place isn't for haters. This is a coffee shop in Vietnam. So it's for people to come and drink coffee. In the same way, this is the Monk Life Meditation YouTube channel. This isn't for people to come in and say naughty things and try to get a reaction out of me. That's not what we're doing here. This is for sincerity. And this is a place without limits. Sincerity without limits. Don't be afraid. Try to not be in a state of reactivity, but to actually just breathe and be aware. Can you try something like that? Have you ever tried something like that before? You know, a lot of people are stuck in an Illuminati mind sphere. But this is a place where we crack the crystal ball of the Illuminati mind frame. This is a place where reptilians can't reach. This is the place where the ice wall melts. This is the place where the space explorer realizes the true nature of the flower. Just to stop and smell the flower. So one of the big teachings that I work with and try to share out into the world definitely a lot of stopping. Definitely a lot of stepping back and stopping. That when we are confronted with the world, when we are confronted with interesting, complicated, unexplained experiences, internally or externally, that more and more complicated thinking is not the answer. In the same way that greed, anger, delusion is not the answer. And it takes time, you know, this is a real settling into non-reactivity. So not everybody has the capacity or the space to stop and to settle in. Because we're looking for something very quickly. And to get what you want, it takes a journey, it takes time. Well, Adriano, we can come to the refuge of the present moment. And so what I was sharing about, these teachings not being, encouraging complicated thinking and actually inviting this stepping back and this stopping, but that perhaps our problems and our identity and the situation that we're confronting in life right now is not actually fixable or describable according to complicated thinking. And so this is like this word, complicated thinking, is really a sword that cuts through the mind of nonsense, the mind of confusion, the mind of greed, the mind of frustration, the mind of anger, the mind of reactivity. So start to put down or start to set down all of your complicated thinking, all of your self-importance, all of the reality that you're giving to the story of your life. Just have a sip of a cappuccino. Today, in this moment, we can see the beautiful flowers. We can feel our own heart beating if we listen to the sound. Welcome, everybody. We're all here, and it doesn't matter how naughty that we've been or how wacky and wild we try to be. This moment is just this moment, unexplainable, inexplicable in all of its ways. The flower is leaving infinite comments. Sometimes we may look at the comments being put on the stream from naughty or deranged or confused, even schizophrenic people who are arriving here in this live stream. And there's nothing wrong with that, but to hear the comments being left by the flower, the real flower, the true flower of your own mindfulness, of your own present moment awareness. And, so how we start to work with lust is, how does lust work with you? Whatever it is, just let it go. This is really a live stream to help support you in this moment to see through the importance that you're giving to the thoughts that you have right here and right now. So as much as you experience, as much as you can experience thinking, and I know most people here probably experience thinking, can you experience no thinking? Are you experiencing no thinking right now? So if we can sustain that openness to non-thought, what kind of change does that make to our ego personality? And speaking to that, Donald Trump and Muhammad and Barack Obama, what is it like to arrive, not with Donald Trump, not with Barack Obama, not with Mohammed al-Sabin, not with the reptilian Illuminati, not with the doctorate of calligraphy in Jupiter, but to arrive in the simplicity, the crystal clarity of the here and now as it is. Come for a journey with me to the present moment. No cost, no ticket needed. Just pull up a chair, drink your tea, eat your meal. Be here now. And this being here now it's kind of mysterious and universal. It's beyond our ideas about ourselves or what it means to be here or about the world. So this is truly an incredible opportunity. Thank you very much for the donation, Decius. We do accept donations and support here on this live stream, and it's great to see Decius coming out and expressing generosity. And that's really what it takes. I mean, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I say, well, I don't feel strong, I don't feel healthy, I don't know what to do. And so what it requires for me to step into my life is to be generous enough to just go out, to walk outside of my suffering, to walk outside of my idea about myself and my life. Because it doesn't quite make sense, does it? That, you have something of value, you have a money, right? And then you give it away to nothing. You give to me, you give to nothing. But anyway, we have to find a way in our lives to be generous enough to let go of what we are attached to. Don't try to interpret the Bhagavad Gita. It's like trying to interpret what's going on here. Trying to interpret the flowers, trying to interpret my Mr. Rogers sweater, trying to interpret my bald head, trying to interpret the sounds that I make. And this is why it's really recommended that we listen and we study teachings that are not outside of our reach. We want to connect with a presence or an energy or a teaching that's simple, clear, and direct, right? anything that you can take as a meditation object, that you can actually be interested in, that's not going to entangle you, you can use that as a meditation object. This is a new world order. This is a new generation of mindfulness and detachment. If you're here, you better be concerned with the truth. So this is a natural live stream. This is a natural meditation. First of its kind, one of a kind. You won't find this content anywhere else online. You won't find this in your local Zine. Here, there is no design. Whatever you think is just wrong. Everything that you think is wrong. Everything that you believe is wrong. Every thought-based, word-based story you have about yourself, the world, life, is all wrong. Drop thinking. Stop thinking. Stop chasing. Stop pursuing conceptual frameworks of understanding what you're experiencing. Hamalele bosa. Hamalele bosa. Chingmaya na chuyo wakanea ya no wachia. Yantoya chaka no waya na kuwaya na. Haya na ya wachi maya kowa macha ya kulu wakulu ya kuchimaya wa. Tonga chukmang na moe. Chukmang na moe. Haya moso ya kachala ya kumbaya taka. Be very careful, for the spirits of the earth and I are one. Watch closely. W's in the chat. Leave a like if you haven't already. What you're about to see is going to blow your mind. W's in the chat. Leave a like. Share this with your family members. Share this with your friends. What's about to happen has never been seen before. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, W's in the chat. 4, leave a like. 3, 2, 1. Use the word everything to clear out and to widen out the mind of constricted thinking. Everything, everything. Step back from anything that you're involved with in your life. Step back from eating flowers. Step back from all aspects of identity that you have clung to up to this point. You know, it's using the power of death. It's using the power of impermanence. It's using the power of truth. Where have you ever been more so than you've been right here and right now? What do I do for a living? I'm a recipient of support. I'm a support recipient. So in many different ways, the world, people, nature supports me to live. And, well, I'm living off of generosity. Yeah, I'm living off of generosity. I wish I got a check, but I don't get any kind of check from the government or anything like that. But I'm here, I'm available, I'm accessible, I'm being generous with my body, with my mind, with my time, with my life. You know, I don't live in America, so things are a little bit different over here in Vietnam. I'd probably be a little bit more happy if I was living as a bum. But right now I'm living as a drop all thinking. Don't think anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't think anymore. Breathe. Focus on your breathing. I'm a bit of a shaman, honestly. I'm a bit of a shaman. And I'm finding out what's right for me to do in my life that makes me feel happy and allows me to support and benefit others, you know, and to be free. Right now I'm looking at some opportunities to teach meditation and English for children. So I hope that works out because that's very important for me to help the children, to be a guide. But be very careful. Be very careful what you say from here on out. I just said be very careful what you say from here on out. Do you understand me? Be very careful what you say from here on out. Oh, money. Manme Hum. Om Manme Manme Hum. Om Manme Manme Hum. Om Manme Manme Hum. Stop thinking. So it's kind of taking the position of no position, or it's changing our narrative of being a controller, being an understander, being a knower, to not controlling, not understanding, and not knowing. So the teaching here is really along the lines of children's liberation. And so we're working to cut through the arrogance of some kind of predestined position of authority. So you being here and experiencing this doesn't mean that you understand what's going on. It doesn't mean that you know who I am. And it doesn't mean you have a position of control or authority in this situation. So just because you feel like you are in charge, just because you feel like you have control, just because you feel like your idea is an authoritative one, that's not necessarily true. So we are questioning all positions of authority here. And this is the invitation that I'm giving to the people who are watching. Firstly, do not leave rude comments, because there's no need to do anything like that. I'm real. In that I'm just a knot. I am real. In that I is just a knot. I is just a knot to be untied.
Hey, wana mai akolo ya vai kapiti kai somali wa kuri ya somali wa komali wa le komali wa ya kozi bi ya somali ma zuri ko ji vai ga ga zuri wa ga zuri wa kamali ga zuri ha zuri ga zuri ga 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 bu mali ma zuri ga ga bu zuri ga ga bu zuri ga zuri ba ji wa kamali komali ga komali wa ga ga kamali ma zuri ga ga ha bu mali ga ga bu zuri ga zuri mali ga ya bu
Stop thinking. Stop thinking. Feel your heart beating. Feel your heart beat. Feel your heart breathing. 10, 9, 8, 7. It doesn't matter what's going on. Just stop and smell the flowers. This is real. Okay, give me a second here. I'm going to try this. Everybody back off. Listen, what's this all about, actually? Some people may have this question, like, what's actually going on? Does anybody have that question? What's actually going on here? Does anyone have a question like that? Let me show you, because I've kind of been keeping something behind the scenes here, and I'd like to show everybody what's really going on here. Okay? Nobody's gonna make me go anywhere. This is concerned with children's liberation. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I am solid. I am free. I am solid. I am free. In the ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. Solid as a rock. Not the country, the geological formation. And, you know, here we're really taking a stand. We're taking a stand against people who are going rogue and thinking that they're in charge and they're going to be the boss and they're going to make a decision. This is angel talk. This is love aligning. This is a kundalini, okay? I'm your local Reiki kundalini adjuster. So you're here and you're going to get your kundalini adjusted whether you like it or not. So you better watch out. If you don't want to get your kundalini adjusted, you better be aware. Okay? The truth is that not everybody is ready for these teachings. Not everybody's in a position to really take in or digest the depth, the real profundity of these teachings. Okay? And, I don't hold any grudges towards anybody about that. A lot of the times I'm not actually primed and ready to take in the depth of these teachings, because this teaching isn't about someone. This teaching isn't about something. This teaching isn't about some place or some time or some situation or some particular experience. The teaching that I'm trying to share, or the teaching that I'm talking about, is being perfectly expressed by this flower as it is. So when your mind is open, subtle, gentle, and clear enough to appreciate the truth that this flower shares, you will also be ready for the truth that is shared here. Hey, the poorer you are, the more easy it is to practice generosity. Wealthier people have a much more difficult problem because, when you have so much, how can you give to a degree that you feel that loss? So generosity is like giving to willingly experience loss, concerned with the truth. Like giving up, giving away, giving out. And it's not more complicated than when we find ourselves to be like a ball of suffering. We find our heart to be tangled up. We find our anxiety to be tangled up. We find our depression to be tangled up. And we take that big ball of anxiety and we just step outside and we just walk. You open out, you widen out. Or you go to the coffee shop and you do that. We have to learn how to hit the refresh and restart button on our own egos, on our own personal identity. So our complicated thinking is never going to be the answer to our internal psychological suffering. Complicated thinking is never going to give the answer to our anxiety. So this is about renouncing complicated thinking. And thank you, Raf B, for the kind offering. Something like that. Connect with your breathing. Classic saying, the way out is in. So when you see somebody, the answer to that is not out there. It's not out here. It's not in your explanation. It's in. The world is a mirror, and it is inviting you to enter internally, to enter into your own mind and heart with awareness, without complicated thinking, without attachment. This is like shaman power to summon the people. Let's leave some likes, let's put some W's. You can say Rob is a shaman, or you can say, wow, this is very shamanic. You can put in the comments. Like a tuning fork. Like a tuning fork inviting all the vibrations of the universe to come closely, to arrive in the here and now. I was a monk for 7 years. It's kind of like a plumber showing up to your house when you don't have a toilet. Or getting a call from the banker, the person at the bank, at a bank you don't have an account at. And so we've become destabilized and we've become debilitated by parasocial relationships and a culture of opinions, a culture of likes and dislikes. You should be busy with what you are engaged with what you are taking care of, with what you are investing in. What other people do or have done in general, it doesn't really need an explanation. You don't need an explanation for what you're not involved with. And from the side of you getting involved, what are you getting? Why are you getting involved? Are you getting involved to make a judgment? Are you getting involved to share your opinion? Are you getting involved to kind of think about it? We should primarily be getting involved in terms of generosity, in terms of making offerings, in terms of sharing support. How can I help? What can I do? How can I serve? As the song goes, this world is a vampire. So how are you going to shine the light on the coffin of noon? Whatever time you wake up, that's when you wake up, isn't it? All these people, all my life, people are saying, Rob, wake up. It's 11 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock. It's now o'clock here. You don't tell me when to wake up. You don't tell me when to wash my dishes. Why would you? And so what I'm saying to you is to invite the timeless clock. Invite the clock of timelessness. This is not AI generated. This is not AI generated. Roll up your sleeve and look into the time sphere of timeless time, right here and now. You shui moin bodo yo bodo hey amango do yo yo namo guanju imbu za namo guanju imbu za namo guanju imbu za. Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. This is not meant to be understandable. I don't care about your story, chief, boss, big guy. I don't care about your fancy car, your motorcycle, your bank account, your big muscles, your big head, your big eyes. You know what to do? I don't care, big guy. I'm living like this. Let me be. Open and aware, free, clean and clear. You got it? That's this message. You better try again because you knocked on the wrong door. That's not me. That's not you. Here's a mirror. Look into your own direct experience. Don't think anymore. All right? New rule. Here's the new rule. You like rules? Here's the new rule. No more thinking. Thinking's outlawed. Past thinking is criminalized. Future thinking is criminalized. And you don't even want to find out what happens if you think now. Don't think at all anymore. From here on out. Or else. Now let's get back to the work. Follow along with me if you can. And listen closely. We're all moving on a journey to nowhere, taking it easy, taking it slow, no more worries, no need to hurry, nothing to carry. Let it all go, let it all go. We're all moving on a journey to nowhere, taking it easy, taking it slow, no more worries, no need to hurry, nothing to carry. Let it all go, let it all go. I kind of had a interdimensional flash in or flashback there, but I had the thought of being kind of, admitted in a psychiatric hospital, with my green sweater and my disposition and and I thought, what a great psychiatric hospital to be in, the psychiatric hospital of a lovely coffee shop in the mountainous region of Vietnam here, with a beautiful view and fresh flowers and fresh weather. The reality is that life happens. Life is kind of constantly happening. And if we're up, life goes down. If we're left, life goes right. If we're feeling good, we get to feel bad because all the Okay. We can only be so naughty, Nicola. All right? So let's give you some time to think about how you've been acting. Not really to think about how you've been acting, but to just kind of drop that reactivity and just be in the moment, be with what is, be in the here and in the now. Same with you, Barrett. Because in some ways we've kind of cheated ourselves out of life, and we've cheated others out of life as well. Like that raw intimacy, that raw presence, that uncomplicated truth of just reality is like that. You know, so kind of when I was doing my hubba lubba weeba wabba, you know, some people, I mean, you can get a person, you could get a wealthy American woman, you know, they have a name, right? Karens, people who, but just someone who overly emotionally is dysregulated and reacts, right? And they could see something like that and try to call the police. You know what I mean? And so we're oftentimes policing others based on our own personal framework of judgments rather than our own personal framework of mindfulness and detachment. And not everybody fits into our idealized worldview. And it's not necessarily our position, or it doesn't make a lot of sense for our position in the world to be how do we force other people into a box that we imagine as being legitimate in our own mind. This is a major teaching here that I'm sharing is learn to not understand. Practice not understanding. Practice not knowing. This is why it's so important that we learn how to step back from the world or step out of the world. I made a Facebook post once and I said, laugh at the world, for it is not your true home. This world of materialistic life is not suitable for abiding. It's a world of pain, it's a world of pleasure, it's a world of complicatedness. And if we truly want to abide somewhere, we should abide in the world of no world. We should abide in the mind of no mind. We're bringing down the empires here. This is not to build up an empire. This is not to build up a stream of complicated thinking. This is to destabilize the ego based on thoughts. Not so that we can just wander around aimlessly, but so that we can come home. Come home to the here and to the now. This is a big answer to a big question. Why did I leave monkhood? Because I was a Buddhist monk for 7 years. It was a big part of my life and my identity. So why did I leave that behind? It's an age-old lesson. It's true. Shit happens. Life happens. Why was Donald Trump elected president? Why am I doing this live stream right now? Why did I wake up and feel the way that I did? Why did I go to sleep at that time? Why was I born in that environment? Why was this person my parent and why did they do that? Why is this flower smell like this? Now, it's not to say that we can't ask questions or we can't explore different ideas, but it's to point out the truth that there is no answer to why. Because life is so subtle. Reality is so subtle. Always changing. Everything is always changing and interacting. So we have to learn to be less influenced by appearances. This is also what I'm kind of sharing and teaching here. Stop being so influenced by appearances. Practice to step back from appearances. Practice to step back from a story-based narrative of what you're experiencing. Let go of all these complicated thoughts. Donald Trump only exists in your own mind. Are you the real Donald Trump? Am I the real Donald Trump? Well, where is Donald Trump outside of this direct experience? Donald Trump only exists in this direct experience in your own mind. So here is where we do the higher mind work. We start to work with the mind itself rather than believing in a story about reality. Come on. Oh, thank you. I just take these cookies. Thank you. A true beauty. A true beauty here in Vietnam. Right here and now. Can you feel it? Can you smell it? Can you smell what the Rob is a cooking? Quiet. Okay, Corza family, thank you so much for all your support and your donations. And everyone here is, of course, encouraged to donate, to offer, to share. And that's not really about money. It's more like you sharing your experience, Share what you're getting from this. Share something of value. Don't just leave comments. Don't just da 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 da, but really share, give, offer, give yourself, so that we can all benefit from your deep question or your deep experience that you're sharing. But don't just stick on the surface level of things. Now's the time really to go deep and go beyond our usual ways of thinking. This is where we defeat the Illuminati, we defeat the Rockefellers, we defeat the reptilians that are controlling our society, we defeat BlackRock. We're defeating all of the conspiracy theories all at once. Okay? Vaughn, you know better than to talk like that. Let's see if anybody can guess what country I'm from and how old I am. If anybody gets the right answer, there's going to be a very special situation that's going to happen. How old am I and what country am I from? Be careful though, because if you get the wrong answer, there will also be a special situation. Well, this is the teaching here. Any story isn't real, because no elements of reality are made of stories. This flower isn't made of a story. The eyeball isn't made of a story. The ability for you to see right now isn't made of a story. Your heart beating right now isn't made of a story. This table isn't made of a story. This coffee isn't made of a story. Now we can make up a story about our eyes, about what we see, about the coffee, about the table, about the flower. But if we made up a true story about the flower, that story would be a story that would take from the beginning to the end of the universe to tell. Because there's no separation in a flower. There's no separation in a tree. There's no separation between you and me. In a sense, as much as you are perceiving me or experiencing me, then you are always me in that moment. Because this is the way that it is right now. And the way that it is right now is completely interdependent. We are completely in a state of interbeing. There's no separation in this experience. You may come up with an idea or a concept or a thought about separation, but there's no real separation in this experience. Everything is together. Everything together already. If you are a monkey, you should make a sound like a cockadoo. Christ is King. Hallelujah. Because one way or another, I'm here and I'm now with the sunlight in my heart. the green of the trees and the red of the song, sharing my heart. Please, won't you sing along? What a beautiful day it is, and what a beautiful moment. I do want to express my gratitude and my appreciation for so many friends being in the here and the now with me. We're really breaking down the structures of complicated thinking so that we can set a foundation for contemplative action moving forward. And we come back to our breathing. You know, I mean, in the midst of all this energy that's being, because I've been using like a tuning fork. So regardless and continuously and again, gently and sincerely to step back and just to be aware. We don't need to understand what's going on in the body. We don't need to understand what's going on in the mind. We don't need to make judgments. Can you hear what I'm saying? We don't need to be the judge. We don't need to make judgments about what is being experienced already. And so this is the access point of stepping back into space. The mind that steps back into space, into awareness, into natural meditation. I'm getting heated up. Stepping back is not really a thought-based action. It's kind of like, I show it like this. It's kind of like, literally, it's almost like a surprised or a being shocked, but not actually being shocked. So it's like something that brings you into a fresh, new, completely open experience. And you don't even hold on to that. You step back from the stepping back itself. just aware. Just aware. Zooming out, but it's also it's not really, you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere. You're not actually, you're kind of, it's the uninvolvement of you. So it's like the dropping away of you, the dropping away of someone who's doing something, the dropping away of someone who's being someone, and it's like a sword. It's not like an exercise or an idea or philosophy. It's a totality of ending what never began. It's like seeing the ending of what never began. Does that resonate for anybody? Let's get some W's in the chat if that resonates with you. This coffee is starting to resonate with my intestines. But that's save that quote, anybody who's following along, because we'll get that on a t-shirt. I'm actually thinking about starting up my own clothing brand. So Monk Life Meditation clothing brand. And put some quotes and different cool things on t-shirts or hats. Just beginning to look into it because I'm really not, I'm not a businessman. I'm more of a beggar or a wanderer or a hopeless and helpless wanderer on the path. So you can cry, you can open up to the everythingness here and now. Because there's this thinking, or there's this teaching that we've been taught and that we've been receiving, okay, that puts our life in this spectrum of time, puts our ego or our identity in this spectrum of time. And the reality of our human experience is that our human experience doesn't rely on that spectrum of time. It's kind of like we're keying into, or we're noticing an aspect of our direct experience, and then we're extrapolating upon that aspect of our direct experience and appropriating our direct experience to that. Or our direct experience is being appropriated to this spectrum of time that doesn't actually exist experientially. So being outside of time is super accessible and super normal, but it's not based in time. So there's a timeless accessibility here, regardless of form, regardless of phenomena, regardless of anything and everything. Spread Shop Pod. A lot of things are up to you. I was just thinking about that, so it's funny you brought that up, Diane. For me, I want the people here to be happy and healthy, and if something came up and I could help, I would certainly want to do that as much as I could, right? But at the end of the day, 99% of the time, when you go to the toilet, that's your business. When I drink my cappuccino, that's my business. I'm going to have to go to the toilet in not too long. That's my business. I'm not going to bring you in there. And so, rather than this being like an agreed upon story-based element of the way that we take care of our own business, we operate from this place of businesslessness, or we operate from this place of mindfulness and detachment. So whatever, whoever, wherever, etc., dissolves into the effervescentness of the way that it already is, here and now. Not based on anything, not based on anyone, etc. I mean, that's how I choose to live my life, but I still have to make sure there's a toilet around. I've pooped my robes a few times, living in Myanmar and being in the streets and the roads and things like that. I've peed myself in my robes before, just because that's what happens. Especially you get older, there's a lot of things like that. Um, but this is really the invitation to arrive and detach, regardless. It's okay to be gay, it's okay to be autistic. If I was gay and autistic, that would be fine. Nothing wrong with being gay, nothing wrong with being autistic. Okay. And so, what I invite everyone to do is to kind of adjust their posture in such a way that they become more settled. So adjust your posture in the way that you become more settled in the here and now. Okay? And basically what we're going to do here is we're going to set up a situation, we're going to set up an experience where the invitation is to close our eyes and connect with our breathing. And all the more important to close your eyes in this live stream because we got so many wild and raucous people coming in. So please listen very closely if you can. Go ahead and find your comfortable position to sit upright, to be awake and aware, but also to be relaxed. And definitely close your eyes gently, softly. Begin to feel the inside of your brain, the inside of your mind, and allow that inside brain, inside mind to flow down into your whole body. The neck, shoulders, down into the arms and hands. The chest and the back, down the spine, the torso, to the butt and pelvis regions, the thighs, the knees, the shins and the calves, the ankles and the feet. So finding ourselves in this place of mind as awareness and body as wholeness. Aware wholeness of the body and mind. And just be in that, with that, as that, without thinking, without needing to think. Just be mindful of everything happening in awareness. This is foggy, then brighten it with the light of your attention on breathing. Brighten awareness by placing breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Aware and awake. Meditate on not being someone. On not being somewhere. On not being in a particular situation. Beyond particulars of being. Just aware. Just awake and aware. Just breathing, no thinking, awake and aware. Getting distracted is how we know that we're practicing correctly. Come back to the breathing. Come back to non-thinking awareness. Come back to awareness of the thoughtless body breathing right in your face, right now, as it is. Beyond thought, beyond concepts, beyond story, beyond reactivity. Sounds originate from silence. Sounds return to silence. Silence without meaning. Sounds without silence. High standards, high quality, high power. Just return to the real power source, to the real high fashion source, to the real bougie way, the power of impermanence, the power of arising and disappearing, impermanence. See, hear, breathe, thoughtlessness. Look directly at the experience of thoughtlessness. Adjust your ego to accept nothing. And see that nothing is just nothing. No need to strive, no need to search, no need to seek. Use the word everything to blow out, to remove and to destroy all conceptual frameworks in your mind. Everything, everything, everything. Everything. So we're actually not trying to develop anything in our meditation practice, but it's kind of like injecting a syringe into the pus sac of our ignorance and attachment and draining that sac of pus of ignorance and attachment in our brain so that our brain can function properly, naturally, so that the light of awareness is clear to See the flower as it is right now. Maybe nothing in the past, maybe nothing in the future, just here and now. That is also not a thing. So there's nothing and no one to grasp or hold on to in this. Just raw, unfiltered awareness. And listening to music can actually be very problematic and very dangerous. So be careful about that. When we listen to music, we can develop a lot of complicated attachments and really stir up our emotional framework and stir up our ego. So the natural music is more safe, more reliable. You can listen to the music that is already there in the background, or if you can listen to the music of the trees and the wind and the natural birds and natural areas, that is very safe and reliable. But when we're listening to this created music, um, you don't want to do that all the time. You want to be careful about that for sure. Because it's kind of like we're learning from we're learning from karate masters that are untested and untrained when we listen to random music that we come across. And we want to listen to people and take in content and take in energy that has trained in some way, developed in some way. That is more safe, more reliable, concerned with mindfulness and detachment, or concerned with the wisdom and compassion. Otherwise, we go through our entire lives and we're just consuming. We're just feeding our greed, our frustration, our delusions. I mean, how delusional are people? It can be very scary. That's partly why I don't have any interest right now to be in America, because the level of delusion for American people is so, so, so high. The culture, the environment, the dynamics, the spiral dynamics of people in America are just on this extreme spectrum of delusion. And we have to be careful and powerful to know how to step back from our involvements with all that, because everybody has this ideal of themselves, right? Like, oh, I can go into this situation and I can be a kind of cool person or natural person or go with the flow here and there. But the reality is that, did we actually learn how to go in the flow according to nature, or just according to different appearances or different ideas that we've had in our mind, right? Or just for seeking money or seeking pleasure or avoiding pain? Because the Dhamma, or the truth, is not about pleasure or pain or boredom. It's not about this or that. It's not about anything. So this kind of training is all the more important, all the more vital to sustain our wakefulness and our attention in spaces that are not thought-based. And this is, you have to take this with a spoonful of salt, because this is a renunciate path, and you have to recognize this is kind of a sharp pointer that you have to use without attachment. You have to pick it up and put it down freely. If you hold on to it, you're going to find yourself in the streets of India, urinating on yourself. So trust me, nobody wants to be in the streets of India urinating on themselves. So you can't even attach to this. You can't even attach to the sublime truth of the way that things already are. You shouldn't try to attach to it. But without ego, just to appreciate the smell of the flower. Okay, so to finish up, we'll open up for questions. Does anyone have any questions or comments that they'd like to share from this live session? I know it's very energetic, and we had some new practices, some new appearances show up today. So, if anyone has any questions or wants to share about their experience, you can do that before we end the live stream. Okay, then. Thank you all for being here. And we can finish with a short Buddhist chant, quiet Buddhist chant. And this is invoking the Bodhisattva of compassion, Guan Yin. Namo Guan Shi Yin Bu Sa. 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 Ooh. Namo Guan Shu Yin Pu Sa. Namo Guan Shu Yin Pu Sa. Namo Guan Shu Yin Pu Sa. Oh, excuse me. Namo Guan Shu. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. Namo Guan Shu Yin Pu Sa. 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 Yin Pu Sa. Namo Guan Shu 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 Yin Pu Sa. Okay, bye bye everyone. Be good, be happy, be peaceful, and whenever you think strongly, remember to not think gently. Bye bye.